Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. I'm your DJ and host, Sam Wilson Jr., and I'm here to bring you the history genre of black music: gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the history destination genre of black music, right now on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a special guest on my show. This guy that I'm about to introduce is a jazz guitarist who has been playing jazz music for years. He has performed with so many jazz artists and have performed all over the world. While he's not on tour, he has a day job as a music teacher, and he has written books on how to play guitar and other instruments. So please help me welcome to my Black Soul Music Experience podcast, Mr. Guillermo Marigliano.
Hey, thanks, Summer. It's a
How are
pleasure to.
you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Thank you for having me here at your show. It's a pleasure and an honor. So, hope that we have a very nice conversation. Okay,
Oh, yes, we
I'm
will. We
going.
will
I'm
have a
going to.
wonderful conversation.
I'm going to do it with you sharing this that maybe you don't know what is it. It's a mate. This is called mate. Inside you have like I don't know if you can see it. It's like yerba mate. It's like a herb. It's not a weed. Okay.
Hmm.
And because we are in Argentina and in this part of South America, like South Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay, those countries, we don't have much the tradition about coffee. Okay, we drink coffee, but not like here or maybe in Colombia or other countries. So this is the heritage of our native people. Okay, they used to drink this. Okay, cold water, warm water. You can put whatever you want. I used to drink with warm water, and it's the same when you say to someone, hey, let's do some coffee. It's because you are going to talk about important things, but not about money, not about important things about the human being, about what's happened with you, your inner feelings you're going to share. And so that because I'm going to do this, because we are going to have a conversation in which we are going to be, talking about things, important things, life,
Yeah.
So,
Yes, I'm very delighted to have you here. You are out on the West Coast. I'm here on the East Coast. Because
oh,
me growing up, I'll
yes.
be watching some of the shows. Don't miss an all new special tonight at 8, 7 Central on most of these stations. So I
Wow.
grew up with those commercials. So
Oh,
even though
wow.
most of my relatives didn't know the time zone, my late mother didn't know what time zone, or look at the credit card bill that says, oh, out in the West Coast, but she never knew the time zone because she probably assumes that all of the shows were from the East Coast, but never
Oh,
really
wow.
pay close attention to the time because the last time she flew to Paris was 2004, and she thought it was like in the daytime, but you have to take the flight at night. So it wasn't new to me because one time 50 years ago, we took the plane at night. We went to Walt Disney World, but we took the night flight and got to Orlando, Florida, like around midnight or 1 a.m. in the morning. So,
Oh,
she
yes.
keeps forgetting, but I knew about that all the time, taking the night flight as usual.
Okay.
So let us begin. So America may not know who you are, the world may not know who you are. So this is my first time interviewing you. So let us begin. Now, where were you born?
I born in Argentina. I born in Argentina in the 70s, mid 70s. Um, so my childhood was in between. Yeah, um, I was a teenager in the no, late 80s and the beginning of the 90s. Uh, and I always live in the same place, in the same neighborhood, couple of blocks around, because I moved from my parents' house at a really young age. We used to stay more in our country. So, but at the age of 19, I moved from my parents' house, but I moved close, so I stayed, around the neighborhood. So I never did great moves in my life until 3 years ago that I moved here to California.
Now, were your parents in the music industry or did they had 9 to 5 day jobs?
No, nobody. Okay, my mom used to teach piano, and he took piano lessons, and she was really good, really, really good. She gave a couple of concerts. There was a conservatory, national conservatory in Argentina. She was a student, but she never did it as a professional. Okay, as a she never been in the music industry or something like this, like I try to do, and I do. So, but as a professional and someone like uh, make money to the music, and try to make the music uh, their own my own things in life to get money and to support me and that. No, this is the I am the first in several generations, several. And my dad, he used to have a day job, 9 to 5, or sometimes 9 to 9, or something, Yes, that's my story.
Now, which high school did you go to?
Oh, back in Argentina was the Dr. Luisa Gote is a commercial school, number 23. I graduated in 1991, 1992. I can't remember, like a business expert, the high school diploma. It's like a business expert, something like this. If you want to be an accountant, in the future, you have to do this kind of high school. Just prepare you to more numbers than other things. That and it was right the opposite what I did, because I was in the human field, in the arts, and so I don't know why I did it, because maybe I have some fear that I'm not going to be a musician. So I say, oh, I have to do something, with the numbers and be an accountant or a lawyer or whatever. And I don't know. I never thought about it, because in the middle of school, of my high school, I guess at the very beginning, I was decided. I have the decision that I'm going to be a musician. But I just uh, did the whole high school as soon as possible, because I was thinking that I'm losing my time here. I want to be a musician. So I did it like in 4 years and a half, and that's it.
And which college did you go to?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. When I finish my high school, yeah, no, you don't have any college to go if you want to be a musician or an artist. Okay, there's a few choices. Okay, you have the National Conservatory, but it's about classical music, and of course, uh, I didn't want it, the classical, like classical studies and classical music. I was a rock musician, a rock guitar player. So I was, I wanted to be trained in modern music. By those years, I guess but I joined this college, and in 1993, 94. But in 1991, a couple of people, they opened up like it was like they was here at the MI, the Musician Institute here in California. back in the 80s, and then they opened up like endorsement of the MI in Argentina. So you have the same program, the same degree, okay, back old days. Now it's different. So I studied there. When I realized and when I knew, oh, this is here, I can do the same like in the Musician Institute in California, but here with the, and they say yes, okay. So I attended that college for 2 years. First, I have a degree, an associate degree in guitar, and then I specialized in arrangement and composition, jazz composition, and that was at that college is where the jazz came, to my life, because if you want to improve your music skills, you gotta be, the most advanced music in the world nowadays is the jazz. Okay, if you want to learn harmony, music theory in a modern speaking way, so this you have to go inside the jazz music, because even though if you are a rock musician or if you are going to play reggae or whatever, I'm not 100% a jazz musician nowadays. I never was, I think. But what's happened is that you are going to have like a look, like it's like to see the world and with a bigger window when you have this, this knowledge. When you study jazz music and jazz harmony, jazz theory, or music from this point of view, it's like, that you're going to have a different view of the world, the music world, more wide. That's what I think that jazz can do for any musician.
Now, what was your major in college?
They don't have a major at that college. Okay, you have like a degree. This was like a professional guitar player, because they prepare you to be a session musician. Okay, to cover several styles, to be a side reader, and so to put you inside the industry to do sessions. Okay, and then the other associate degree that I have is in arrangements and composition.
Okay. Now, who did you want it to be when you grow up?
That's a good question, my friend. I guess when I started to play guitar, that was at 12, 13 years old. Someone, a friend of mine from the neighborhood, he borrowed me a guitar because I don't have it. Because I say, hey, I want to learn this. And in a couple of months, I don't know if I do like it was with the God or the devil, but made me a promise, and I said, I'm going to be a musician, and this is going to be my path in life. I don't know how it's going to be, how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a musician. I knew at that moment that I wanted to be, 100% a musician.
Now, how old were you when you started playing the musical instruments?
Like I said, 12, 13, in between 12 and 13.
Okay. Was being a musician your calling?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
When I
And
graduated,
how
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And how long have you been in the music business?
I can say from now it's like 30 years in the music business. I became a professional at a very young age. After my graduation, I started to work and I started to teach. So yes, I've been in the music industry more than my entire life.
Now, before you got into the music business, did you have a day job? And if so, what was your first day job?
I had a day job until, I don't know, 15 years ago. and I don't have it right now because my wife, she had a job here that, and in between my wife and me, we can cover everything. But if I was by myself here, like as an immigrant, I don't know, maybe I have to come back to a day job. But it's not never scares me. And so because I wanted to live by myself and left my parent home at a very young age, I had to have several day jobs. But let me tell you, when I was at the high school and I started to play and I had my rock trio, with my own songs and doing covers and blah. Okay, I said to me, okay, I need a guitar, an electric guitar. I want to play the electric guitar. So I started work. I started to have some like a half day, a couple of hours during the high school. During the high school, I did the high school in the afternoon, and I worked all mornings, all week mornings. Yeah, weekday mornings. I work all week mornings. For the last 2 years of my high school, I've been studying and working, studying and working. These jobs that are like I don't know is this because I mean my clumsy English, sorry. This job that you can have like a boy, like I don't know, this is too old, this like urban boy, the boy that do this and do this, and it was at a fabric store in a neighborhood. Doesn't exist anymore now. Everything changed in the last 20 years. A neighborhood that was a Jew neighborhood and Armenian people and you have the whole fabric stores, and the big companies have those stores over there, and they hire like me, people like me, young boys that wants to do whatever for a couple of, for a week income. A check that they pay you every Friday. If you've been working the 5 days, you've been paying. So I started like this. That was my first job, doing whatever. And for the next 15 years, I did whatever you can imagine, Sam. Whatever.
Now, growing up, who were your favorite musicians or artists?
Okay. At the beginning, well, when I was more, when I identified myself more as a guitar player, of course, the guitar players from that moment, that was the stars and the artists, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Van Halen, those guys, Jimi Hendrix, the classics, rock, Jimi Hendrix, Ray Vaughan, all the B.B. King, Albert Collins, those guys were okay, this is what I want, okay, this is the soul that I want to have, or I want to transform. That was more like guitar heroes. Then when I started studying music and the information opened up in front of me, and I been discovering new musicians, the music from my country started to call me. Okay, the tango, Astor Piazzolla, the tango composer that we have, very modern. Astor Piazzolla is one of the very well-known artists that we have. And then the jazz composers. I started to listen to Gershwin, I don't know. But what most kept my attention was the tradition. I didn't like, the modern jazz, like the avant-garde or something like this. No, I say, hey, what is this? What's happened here in the 40s, 50s, and 60s? These 3 decades, more 50s and 60s, and say, what's happened? Until, the first time that I heard John Coltrane, I say, okay, this guy is Jimi Hendrix, but in the saxophone. This is everything. Then I realized that I wasn't the only one that had said that. That said something like this. Miles Davis, Charlie Parker, of course, the tradition, you know. I don't want to forget because there's too many artists, but when I heard there's an album the, from Bill Evans that is called Conversation with Myself, and he is Bill Evans playing a piano, and then he overdub, playing over his own recording, and I remember that blow my mind, and I said, "What? The beauty?" Because it wasn't okay. It's complex, but say, okay, I'm in front of someone that we are going to call, maybe in 200 years, the Mozart or the Beethoven of this century. Because now we are so close to those artists, to Chick Corea, he passed away uh, right now. So, but Pat Metheny, then I started to, okay, Django Reinhardt, Barney Kessel, Todd Farlow, Jimmy Raney, and Wes Montgomery. That was guitar player that I started to listen the whole day. Okay, I'm talking about for 50s. All those guitar players. I realized that maybe I asked for those guitar players here to any musician they didn't know. And to me, Todd Farlow was, wow, incredible. Barney Kessel, he was one of the first, of playing like this kind of bebop, at the same time with Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie and play this vocabulary. So that was my influences. Until I knew John McLaughlin. And then I decided that I wanted to be someone like him. Not because the music, it's because to me, this guy is like an avatar of the guitar. It doesn't care what he's playing, it's what he's doing with the music. Okay? I don't care, I don't want to play like him, but the music, the musical journey based on a spiritual journey in your life, and put this spiritual journey into your music and in front of people, and okay, that's that's a moment in my life where I say, okay, this is what I want. This is.
Now, we already asked the question about your musical influences, and you mentioned some of
Yeah.
them. Now, as a session musician, who were some of the jazz artists that you worked on their albums?
Maybe you don't know them because they are from Argentina, and I did a very few sessions here. Uh, because I came here in the middle of the pandemic, so I didn't have too much time, even though I did a lot of things, and I'm running right now in a lot of things too. But those musicians are local artists like Pablo Porcelli, there's another bass player, Nicolas Radici, and those are mostly artists that have been working in Argentina. But here, nobody knows them, they very well know in Argentina the musicians that used to play in my recording sessions are all very well known musicians in the music industry in Argentina, but maybe not here. But the one that are in my recordings, in my second album, the drummer is one of the most important drummers that the Argentina had. His name is Daniel Volpini, and he's one of the greatest teachers, artists, and most influences that the drummers had in Argentina. And he was, but everyone was part of my band. Okay, I started to interact them, and because I was lucky that I had the chance to knew the people, the other people, the other artists in Argentina that they've been playing at this, like at the same time here in the state. They were like jazz musicians in the 60s, in the 50s, okay, and I met them, and I had a chance to play with them, with the other people. So I learned too much about tradition and how to do or how to be a musician from the other people. I always respect other people. You know, you can, maybe you can share their point of view, but they live. So you have to listen. You have to listen always.
Right. Now, how many countries that you went to perform, whether it's here in the United States or around the world? How many
Oh
countries that
yes,
you went to perform at?
I've been in Chile. I've been in Uruguay. I've been in Brazil, Colombia, Belgium. I don't know if I'm. No, that was the country. And I play all around the country in Argentina. I've been traveling too much inside my country. Uh, and in other countries, that was the countries that.
Mhm. Now, you recorded 6 albums under your belt. Tell us the name of those albums that you had released.
Okay, I released 6 albums and one EP. So it's like seven. Okay, so the first album back in 2008 was called Bab City, and it's a standard jazz quartet where I recorded some mostly most of the songs are classic with my own arrangements. Uh, but I started because I was a composer. I put a couple of compositions. I recorded a couple of my compositions, but I wanted to be something. Was my first album. I say, okay, I want that people recognize me with something that they can recognize. So I recorded some jazz standard classic in a standard quartet, saxophone, upright bass, drums, and me on the guitar. That was my first album. Then my second album is called Watercolors, and it's a trio session recording album. It's a live record. All my studio albums are live recordings, like a jazz band. And but the second album was entirely with my compositions. I started to do my composition. Um, the third album was Parallel Reality, and in between the second, if you listen to my recordings, from the half of the second recording, the last 3 songs, I started to make some fusion, some Latin fusion. I started to put, leave behind like the jazz groove and say, okay, what am I? What are the grooves and the rhythm that I feel? Okay, which one is my heritage? So I started to make a switch, and the third album, Parallel Reality, is all about it's Latin jazz. It's Latin jazz. That was my third album. Um, and I call it parallel reality because this is what I live. I live in a parallel reality all the time, that mine that I create every day. So then I have I never left this guitar, the Spanish guitar, and the music from South America because I learned on guitar like this. So I started to play the music from my country, tango, and the folk music from South America. So the fourth and fifth albums, the fourth album was an album that I recorded with all tango on guitar, played not like traditional tango. It's the tango from my point of view because I was formed with the academic how can I say it? The academic training that I had for years was inside jazz. Of course, I learned how to play chord melody like Joe Bass, to play. I love to play like this. So I uh, played, the tango music and my music like a kind of a jazz musician. Finally, I had to learn, all the skills of about how to play, the classical guitar technique. But I'm not a classical guitar. When you hear me, it's like a classical guitar player, but he plays, her own music, like this. That was my fourth album, and the fifth album was music for that I did for a documentary movie. This album has like jazz compositions because it was about a jazz venue that we had in Argentina, and it's a whole long story about it. But then in 2020, I decided that was my best decision. I don't know. Just I finished just before the pandemic started. I finished my sixth album number six, that I ended during the pandemic, but was recorded before. I finished in the first date of March, and the pandemic was declared on March 14, 15, something like this. So I mix it, and I do the final things and release it in October 2020, October, November 2020. So that because it's called Alpha and Omega, because I guess for everyone around the world was a reset with the ending and the beginning. That because Alpha and Omega, because it means for the whole religions, the Alpha and the Omega means, okay, this is a point of start and this is a point of end. Okay, means a lot of things. Okay. Then I moved here to California, and last year, the first year was 2021, so we've been in the middle of the pandemic here. So 2022, I started to go out here, do jam sessions, whatever, meeting musicians. In the beginning of 2023, a year and a half ago, I did my first recording session here, was an EP, and it's called Inner Path. And I recorded, of course, original music. I always do it. And in February this year, past February, I recorded my last album that is going to be out. It's going to be my eighth album number 8. That is going to be out in November. I just released one song. Next week it's going to be out another song. I guess I'm going to release one more song, 3 songs before the entire album in mid-November, and it's called Guitar Multiverse, because I'm in, all these things, this multiverse nowadays, and I'm so inside of it, and quantum physics and blah, blah, blah. This is my second passion, biology and human and quantum physics and science. And it's I said, it's called Guitar Multiverse because I recorded in the studio with a quartet, with Josh Nelson in piano, Rene Camacho on bass, and a drummer that is from Argentina who lives here too, Alan Dauria. Me on the guitar, but I did a couple of things that I recorded here at home with other instruments, okay, like a piano and very basic, but I did a couple of compositions that I say, okay, I wanted to be on my recording because this is part of me too. And I recorded a couple of songs with the Spanish guitar by myself. So that because I put it Guitar Multiverse, because this is what I am. I'm a multiverse of, I like everything on the guitar.
Okay.
And every
Now,
guitar player, no matter what.
now you mentioned the EP, and I have to get used to this EP thing because every time I look at iTunes, I say EP. What the heck is EP? And I compare that to an LP, which is the album long playing. But now I gotta get used to these new terms, that EP and everything. So you
No,
had
yeah.
introduced that.
it's an industry, thing. It's something that by this way they can take you more money if you release one song, and the industry changes so much. And now if you don't have to be an album or LP, you gotta have more than 7 songs or 7 songs. If you record 6 songs, it's considered right nowadays an EP. So that means that Kind of Blue, one of the most important recording albums on the jazz history, is not an LP, it's an EP. We are in a crazy world. We are in a crazy world. If Mike Davis heard that his album Kind of Blue is not an LP, he said, "Are you nuts, people? What are you talking about?" You know. Or John Coltrane, I don't know. Coltrane played the blues, I guess, is 5 songs, no more than this. And you don't need more. Just with one song, it's more than enough. We are talking about Coltrane. Coltrane played the blues, one of the best recordings album of jazz that every jazz musician, it's like the Bible. You have to have it and listen to it. Now it's an EP. It's crazy.
Wow, it sure is. Now, you did the motion picture music score for the documentary. What was the name of the documentary film that you did the music score?
The documentary is called 1200 Night of Jazz. No, this is the short movie. Sorry. The documentary is Jazz is Like Bananas. Why the name? It's because this is a Jean-Paul Sartre, the writer and poet, Jean-Paul Sartre. He said one day when he was contemporary to Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, and when Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, and I guess they did a couple of Joe in Paris, in France, and he met them, and he listened, he was at the show, because Jean-Paul Sartre was an intellectual from those days, and he said, okay, jazz is like bananas. It has to be consumed in the place that is produced. So, that's what the sentence means. You have to consume jazz like the bananas in the place that is produced, because it's the better taste. It's the experience that you can have. That's what it means, the phrases. And someone inside the movie named it, and so for the director say, okay, this is the name from the documentary. And the documentary speak about a jazz club that started in middle of 70s, last until 2013, when the owner was an upright bass player, very famous in Argentina. And he ran it like a jazz club, like the all New York jazz clubs, just a basement with a few things to eat, some drinks. The tables, it was crazy because the tables are like this. And he said, we don't need more. We just need to put something, some dip, some food that you can eat with your hands, and the glass and the bottle. That's it. Because here, what is important is what's happened on the stage. It's the music. That was his concept. And it was like a sacred place for every musician, and for more than 4 generations. Of course, I play over there, and I play with the owner too. For me and a couple of generations, that was a school of life and a school of music. The ones who wanted to be a jazz musician, So the venue was called Jazz and Pop. And the documentary is about it. So I did the music for the documentary.
Okay. Now, you also did the music score for the movie called The Jazz is Like the Bahamas. Were there any famous stars in that movie?
No, because it's a documentary. It's a documentary. It's not a movie. It's not a fiction. It's a documentary because what's happened is this. Okay, the director was my wife. Yeah, because she's a music. She's a film director. Uh, and when I met her, this is a story. Okay, when I met her, I was playing by those days. I had, once a month I play with my band at the jazz club, and when you are having those first dates, and I say, okay, I'm going to play. I'm a musician. Do you want to come? Because I guess I thought that maybe she would like it. The place was a jazz club. Was like a dump with music, You have to be a romantic back of the musician. So she came, and I said, okay, this is a trial. Let's see what she said, because this is my life. These places are my life. Okay, I do not dream with the big scenarios and the fancy lights, blah blah blah. I know that here the music happens. Okay, even though if one people in the audience or 100, doesn't matter. Okay, the soul is and the vibe is different. So when I finish the show, I got close to her and say, "What do you think?" Oh, she said, "You made a great show. You play so nice the guitar. I love your songs." But and I said, "But what? This is the best place that I've been in my life." And I said, "What? This is a this is a dump. What are you saying?" No, no, this is and those other people that are running this place, who are they? And so I explained, and she said, "What is going to happen when they passed away?" And I say, "Baby, this is going to disappear because it's a romantic dream. Nobody can hold this place. Okay, nowadays in the 21st century, nobody's going to be nobody wanted to hold a place like this. There's no foundation, nothing to do." So she said, okay, we have to make a document because this is part of our history and part of our heritage for the future. So I'm going to look for a fundraiser from the cinema industry in Argentina, and we are going to do a documentary, to an official documentary that next generations in 20 years can find and learn what's happened, 60, 50 years ago or 70 years ago with the jazz music in Argentina. So that was the purpose, and that because, the jazz is like bananas came to life. And she told me, of course, hey, can you do the music? Of course, I'm going to be the musical director.
Now, you were also a music columnist for the magazine called Toro Guitarra y Bajo. Did the
Yes,
magazine reach out to you or you reached out to them?
I reach out them, and then they reach out me, but because they know me from the industry, from being an artist who play around and do things. And when I did my first book, I guess, yes, I sent it to them because I knew the director, the editor of the magazine, and I sent my books. And when I started to write books, and being a teacher and a well-known teacher, because people know me as a teacher too. So yeah, he reached out me finally and say, "Hey, Guillermo, you want to collaborate with us? I can give you a column about jazz fusion. If you want to write, it's a bi-monthly publication, and if you want to write whatever you want, your point of view about improvisation, chord, music analysis, whatever you want." And yes, I started in 2017, and I'm doing, because here it's the same, it's not a job that I have to be there, and I had them to be like a journalist at NAM. So I'm attending every NAM show for the last 3 years, like as a journalist, and that's what I do with them. It's a very, they have more downloads in Spanish here in the States than in other countries in South America, because the magazine is a paperback that you can order, of course, and it's online. You can download the PDF, and they told me a couple of months ago, in the United States we have more downloads than in other countries that speak Spanish, because the magazine is in Spanish. The very well known in the last edition, we have Steve Lukather, we have Steve Vai, we have Andy Timmons, in the front cover and in the main interview. Okay, we have. It's a good, really, really good magazine.
All right, let's talk about the books that you've wrote. You wrote 2 jazz guitar series books and also Jazz Rock Power and Tango Guitar and Swing Time and Chord Melody Solos. Tell us about those books that you have written as educational for those who want to start playing guitar.
Okay, yeah. The first one is I started calling them because when I did the first book, I said to myself, this is not going to be my first book, so I'm going to create like a series, and I call them Jazz Guitar Series. And the first one is called Swing Time, and that because I was playing for several years. I took like a journey inside the tradition. So the only thing that I use is an hardtop guitar and the amp for several years. Okay, I didn't use the electricity and the guitar pedals and all this kind of thing vanished away. I didn't want to use it, and I said no because I like this swing area, and I wanted to. Wrote something that was helpful for the people who wanted to play and who wanted to go, who wanted to start to play jazz, and all that songs from the 20s and the 30s, and Louis Armstrong and Hammerstein Kane, Rodgers and Hart, all that composers, and it's like I don't know if any musician listens to this and has more than. 30, 40 years, you are going to remember the Aversol series that it was like a play along. It was an LP that was recorded like a backing tracks, okay, and you can play and study at home. So what I did is like Aversol, like a backing track, a play along with some directions or clues on how to improvise over, all those specific jazz standards. Jazz songs, more like Broadway songs, because if you call jazz standard, you're talking about from 60s to nowadays. The song that everyone called jazz standards is not jazz standard. The jazz standard is modern. That if you are talking about, I know All of Me, this is a Broadway song. Because those songs that became the most the song that the most musicians play and improvise in a jam session. They were made for Broadway, for the musical, for Broadway. And then after this, because I developed for several years this Joe Pass solo guitar, played by myself, the Spanish guitar and the jazz guitar too. I did the Core Melody Solos, that is a book about jazz songs and popular pop songs too that you can play with tablature and of course normal notation. I was the publisher for those books, and then a publisher in Argentina contacted me and he said, "Hey Guillermo, let's do a book about improvisation," because I wanted to write. I wanted to write something about improvisation. Um, so I did Jazz Rock Power. It's more like fusion improvisation. This is my third book. Um, and a year ago here in the States, I decided to wrote another book about tango music and how to play, because there's a lot of people always saying, hey, when I play by myself here, have my show, say, hey, I would like to play tango, I would like to play tango, how you play tango? I say, okay, I'm going to do a book. Nowadays, it's easiest for a writer because you can self-publish. You have this business in Amazon that, of course, you are not going to make too much money unless you're writing novels or fiction or a kid's book. Okay, this kind of book doesn't. The music industry, the publishers in the music industry changed so much in the last 10 years. You have a couple of them. If so hard to reach out them. I try it too at NAM, but they say we don't want, unsolicited material. We have your own people, and it's a big companies. I'm talking about Alfred, that is not from here, it's from Europe, and Harley Owner, and they own everything. They own everything inside the industry. So, but nowadays we have this. Okay, so this is my fourth book. My fourth book, Tango Guitar Method, was released a year ago, and that's because it's
Now,
my passion to teach.
oh, okay. Now, speaking of teaching, while you're not on tour, you're also a music teacher. What's the name of the college on where you did music education?
Where I did music education
Yes.
at the same at the college that no, I didn't study music education. I became a teacher and a professor, and I was teaching for more than 10 years at the same college. After a few years, okay, I graduated from my college in Argentina. I had my degrees, okay, and after 10 years, they called me, they reached out to me to be a professor in a couple of chairs. And I worked there until 2019 as a professor uh, um, inside the career program of musician in the same place that I studied. I became a professor, okay? And because they know me, because I started before this, I started to do, I did my books and became famous because, oh, Marigliano Guillermo is a good teacher, is a good professor. And I'm not a teacher. I always say I'm not a teacher, I'm not a professor, I'm an educator. So I always involved with the people. Teaching is the meaning of the word. Is when you teach, you are showing something. I'm teaching you what is it. Educate. If I want to educate you, we are going to develop in between of you and me. What is it? Okay, I'm going to educate you. I'm going to dive inside you to take out the knowledge that you already have inside. Okay, that's educate. The word education is not uh, in this world. They didn't like. They don't like the word education because it means it's based on the question. You know, education is based on questions, and nobody wants that. The student may question. This is this, and it is what it is, and I don't like it. I like no, it is not. It could be another thing, or it could be whatever you want. Make your question. Make your own question. So that's and here in the States, I'm teaching at a couple of two private schools, one in Sierra Madre and the other one in Santa Monica. I'm very proud of teaching in Santa Monica Music Center because it's a place that a musician created 50 years ago. And it was in Santa Monica for 50 years. And I'm part of the teachers, and I'm very proud. It's a family, business that nowadays they are struggling with a lot of issues, being a family business here in California. But I'm so proud of being part. The owner passed away a couple of months ago. I met him. Yeah, he was a drummer, and I'm teaching too in an after school programs here to kids, and you know, some one middle school and one elementary school. And I also have my YouTube channel that I started a couple of months ago, where I teach in Spanish and in English. I'm doing, like tutorial video tutorials, because I decided to put all the information that I have, because I've been writing books and teaching notes for the college for years and years and years. So I have my own material, my own teaching notes on how to do scales and a lot of things inside my computer. And I say, okay, it's time to put it outside the world for free. I'm going to start a new YouTube channel. It's going to be only for teaching. It doesn't have my name. You are not going to find under my name. I have my other YouTube channel, but under my name, Guillermo Marigliano, and I call it GPT Guitar, and it's only about content, valuable content. I don't know about, to me, it's valuable. And, for the subscribers too. It seems like, yeah, they like it.
Wow. I was going to ask you the next question, but I think you've answered everything of why it's so important. Because I know many kids out there who want to play the guitar
Yes,
like you, but you have to know all of the notes, the music notes, which is mathematics, and writing a song, which is English. I think you've answered everything, my friend.
yeah. See,
Now,
yeah, I'm sorry, Sam, but as an educator, and I have my son in Gemini, I can speak 4 hours. For me, it's too easy. Okay, and I love to speak, and I'm a teacher. It's my passion to show, and try to help people. So sorry that I've been, my sentences and been too long.
okay. Well, that's okay. We're here to get to know each other. We're learning about music in different cultures. And, everything comes from the motherland, where you're coming from down south or Latin America or the Caribbean. We always learn about each other in different
Yes,
aspects. My favorite radio DJ was Frankie Crocker, and he played everything. He didn't care was white, black, Latino,
of course.
Asian, Caribbean, Native American, or LBGTQ. He knew that music brings people together. And I think you've answered that question, which brings everything together, makes it universal. So it speaks to everyone's language.
Yes, and allow me to say this. I don't know if it's what we are going to talk about, but you name it, about black, white, Latin, Caribbean, Asian, LGBTCDA, whatever. But what they did in the past and what they are doing today with all those, naming the people, to me, it was the same thing that they did back in the 50s and the 60s and then in the last century, were about racism. They are separating people, and we are not separate. You and me are the same. We look different, but we are the same. Same expression of the one, okay, in different realities, okay, but we are the same. So if we continue name the people, or you are this, or you are this, or this music belongs to this, or we are doing I'm sorry, but we are doing the same that we did for the last 100 years or 200 years with the, I don't know, black people or homosexual people or gay people, we are doing the same. We have to stop putting names. You are Jew, you are Catholic, you are a Muslim, you are, hey, we are all the same. We have different paths, and that's okay. We have to respect everyone else and stop naming, because when you say, oh, you are a California man, and I'm a New Yorker, this is separation, and that was one of the biggest mistakes that the human race did in the last 1500 years, and now we are paying the consequences of this, and we are not stopping this. Okay, now I use a red handkerchief and you use a green handkerchief and I'm different from you. Come on. I don't know. It's my point of view, because you say, all this and say, yeah, everything is the same. It's different point of view, different expression of the one, of the human being. Call it, name it, God, whatever. Okay? We belong to one thing. If you think that the tree that is in front of you is not part of you, okay, that's what the problem started. Okay? This tree is you. You are the tree, you are me and are you. That's my point of view. Sorry.
Right. Amen to that. Now, here's a question that I've always asked my guests: living or dead, which musician that you wish you wanted to meet or to perform with?
I would like to meet John Coltrane. I would like to have this kind of person, or being in a, I don't know, the first Mike Davis quintet. I would like to be there. Just maybe not met them, or maybe yes. Just they change. I guess someone. I had a friend. I had a friend who met Dizzy Gillespie, for example, back in the 80s in New York. And he said, you don't know what the kind of human being I met. He was like meeting, it was like meeting a magician, someone special, someone whose vibe is quite different from the other persons. So I would like to meet those boys, those musicians, having in front, and to have to feel this, okay, have this vibe and say, okay, a special someone like John Coltrane, who someone who were inside of a spiritual journey too, so with so compromised with this and his music, and blended it and did it, okay. So um, and someone that is it's alive, I guess. Yes, I would like to meet, yeah, John McLaughlin, definitely. I saw it in 2001. I was at the Central Park listening to him, the a show, but I couldn't reach out to him, after the show. He was with a kind of illness. He was moving weird. He did the show with I don't know if you are aware of about the Shakti. Remember the group, the Shakti group, this kind of Indian music. Okay, that's what I saw, and he was seated the entire show, and then someone helps to get out from the stage, and so I couldn't reach out to him. Um, so that's one of the musician that I would like to.
Okay. Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience podcast, I always ask my guests who are the top 10 artists of all time. So, Mr. M, I'm going to ask you who's your favorite top 10 artists of all time. So, here's how it works: we start like a countdown. We start at number 10, who was the best performer but didn't get any recognition. And we go all the way up to number one, who was the best performer ever that musician have sold over 1 million copies in print that that performer performed, whether it's on Great Performances or Sesame Street on PBS, or did they perform on a primetime special, whether it's CBS, NBC, ABC, or PBS, or did they perform that live concert special on HBO and Showtime? So, Mr. M, we're going to start at number 10. So, who should be at number 10, one of the greatest top 10 jazz artists of all time?
Oh, that's a hard question. I guess I don't know. It's hard to. I have to get out from the style, maybe from just music. And whoa, man, you put me now. Best performer. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, but you said that it wasn't recognized. No,
Right,
like
right.
he deserved, like what
Yeah.
they deserve, or he deserved. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Let me. Uh, I guess someone that for the guitar players they forgot. People nowadays is forgetting about him because I talk sometimes, and because he passed away so young. Is Grant Green. Grant
Ah,
Green.
Green. Yes, Grant Green. One of
Yeah,
my
I
favorite
guess
ones.
he's
My
one
late,
of the. Yeah, go ahead.
yes. Yeah, my late mom had a couple of Grant Green albums, including the one that she has, that the album cover had intrigued me. The name of the album was called Visions. So you see him wearing those sunglasses that had those clouds in the background. So when I looked at the back album cover, I was like, he scared the living daylights out of me. I'm like, I'm getting nightmares just looking at the back album cover. I'm like, so yes. So Grant Green, his album Visions from 1971, he did some remakes of the one from Chicago. Does anybody really know what time it is? And he did his version of the Jackson Five's Never Can Say Goodbye. So we'll put Grant Green at number 10.
Yeah,
And
because I think that he deserves not to be forgiven. Never, never, never. Because people say nowadays, I'm not saying that he's not, he's a master on guitar like George Benson, but there's no George Benson if you don't have a Grant Green before, at the same time with Wes Montgomery. But Wes Montgomery is he was, and he's like very well known. But it was those two guitar players, and I guess Grant Green deserves more nowadays and forever. So yes, this is one. Then, oh, this is hard. I have so many musicians that I know. Oh man, man, man. Um,
yeah, so you mentioned Wes Montgomery, so we can put him at number 9. So
no,
he's
put Charlie Christian.
another,
Put
yes,
Charlie
another
Christian.
jazz. So, okay, so,
Charlie Christian. Definitely.
oh, yes, Charlie Christian, okay.
Yeah,
We'll
Charlie
put him
Christian.
at, yes. And we'll put Wes Montgomery at number 8 because he's another jazz guitarist, but he does it a little different. He just plucks and everything. So,
Yes.
so he's one of the another jazz musicians right there. So,
Oh,
yeah.
and um, let me. Oh, where am I? Here. Okay. What? The other one, like, was this guy? Uh, Not too many people know him, but everyone sing, re, do recordings, and they are going to record his song for years, and nobody knows the name. Maybe Bert Bacharach. This
Ah,
is
Burt Bacharach. Yes, he's one of the
this is one
best
composer.
musicians. Yes, composer, music producer. He's best known for doing albums for Dionne Warwick. He did so many things. And
So
he's best remembered for his tunes, What the World Needs Now, and Nikki. The name of the song was Nikki, that was later became a theme for the ABC movie of the week. So
yes,
Burt
Alfie,
Bacharach is best known for that.
Alfie, the movie. I'm not saying the one that they did in the 2000 years. I'm talking about the Michael Caine first movie, Alfie, the song
Right.
Alfie. And the first movie was Michael Caine was the Alfie, played the
Yes.
character of Alfie. Um, Berbacher, that's very, very incredible, incredible. And I don't know, so now we continue in the same level, worldwide speaking, another composer, but it's most known, but very well known, is Ivan Lins. He's alive. Ivan
Oh,
Lins. Ivan
Ivan
Lins,
Lee.
Lins,
Oh, okay.
Lins. Ivan Lins. He's from Brazil, and he another composer like Burt Bacharach that everyone's played his music, but they don't know uh, that belongs to him. That one of the best compliments that an artist could have. That someone play your music and they consider like a traditional, you know,
Hmm.
it's the best accomplished that you can have as an artist. Maybe people that won't recognize that get the recognition say, "Oh no, I want my name." But the best is that your work considered as, "Oh no, this is a traditional song. I don't know who wrote it." Wow!
Hmm.
So
Wow.
those guys have this. Then uh, I don't know. I started to put, to name some of the one that really touched me, but he's very well known. Is Claude Debussy. Claude Debussy is one composer but it's classical music, modern, It's but it's one of the guys that touched me from the ground. Claude
Hmm.
Debussy. Every time that I heard something, I say, "What's happening with this Claude Debussy?" Claude Debussy. More than okay, I'm not going to say not Beethoven, Mozart, with the bad, they're very well known, very well accepted, but the other composers like Satie, Ravel, Claude Debussy is well known, but you have to be inside, the classical music maybe. um, I don't know which number we
Up
reach.
to number four.
Okay, let's start with the big composers of this century
Okay.
and the last century. Palmethini, Chick,
Ah. Pa-
Chick, yeah,
Panofini.
Chick Corea.
Yes. Chicoria. Okay.
And the same in something that changed the music,
Hmm.
but it's not an artist, it's a band. It's Weather Report. Weather Report. Weather
Okay.
Report. Weather Report is
Weather Report. Yes, Weather Report. I
yeah.
remember that group, Weather Report, that was co-founded by the late Wayne Shorter, one of the best
Wayne
music
Shorter, Joe Zawinul, Alex Acuna, and of course the band, the band with the first Weather Report with okay, how can that's not good. Jaco Pastorius.
composers. Okay.
That's an after and a before and after for the electric music. Something that changed. It's like Jimi Hendrix. It's before Jimi Hendrix the guitar and after Jimi Hendrix. Okay, I guess you can put Van Halen in the 80s from after and before too, but it's like this. I name like so. In the top, in the I don't know, but I guess that we are going to play his songs. Number one, we are going to play his songs and play his music in from now 2000 to 200 years in the future. We are going to continue to playing his music and his lyrics and whatever. Stevie Wonder.
Ah, Stevie Wonder. We'll put
Yeah,
him at
I'm not
number
talking about
one.
number one. Yeah,
Yeah, Stevie
yeah.
Wonder. He
To
has done it
me,
all. He written, performed, arranged everything.
it's
He played
famous.
all the musics. Yes, he played all the musics. The drums, the harmonica, the piano, electric piano, synthesizers, everything. He did it all.
I,
Grammy
I
Award, American Music Award, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, and yes, he won an Oscar too
yes,
for the song "I Just Called to Say I Love You"
I
from the
love
movie
it,
The Woman in Red. Yes.
and it's one that uh, I saw him last January at the NAM here, at the NAM show. You know the NAM event? It's like a convention center. Yeah,
Okay.
he invited. They invited all the time because for the Moog, you know, for the company that made this kind of uh, synthesizers and blah blah blah. And I had him, you know, like a couple of steps from me, and I said, okay, I'm in front of the one of the Mozarts of this century. The energy, you know, it's wow, and it's a normal person, but
Hmm.
it's a genius. And I said to
Yes.
myself, this that what I spoke to you, I said to myself, we are going to play the music of this guy for centuries because it's going to happen. I believe, 100%.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Mr. M, it's a pleasure to talk with you. A wonderful conversation. Great to have you here on my Black Soul Music Experience podcast. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out on your schedule, and it's wonderful to share some of your greatest things with you. Thank you so much.
Samuel, thank you. I really appreciate this. It's been an honor, and I'm going to send me the links of everything because I'm going to share, put it on my website, and spread the word with this amazing podcast. Sorry. Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. Really, really. Thanks so much for thinking about me.
Okay, you welcome. Now, download all of the artists that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com and follow Mr. Guillermo Marigliano. Go to his website and make sure you check out all of his videos streaming online right now on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe by going to riverside.fm/studio/Samuel Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S to the end, dash studio. And yes, we will be posting this video episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience. Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week for an all new episode. The Black Soul Music Experience podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe by going to riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s-studio. And don't forget to check out my audio podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. You can leave your feedbacks, comments, and replies by visiting my Facebook homepage. Go to facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. You can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66. As always, parting, remember this: reach for the top, and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care. God bless. Thanks for listening. Have a good week, and please be safe.